In philosophy, which I studied for a couple years in seminary, I have a philosophy degree, they talk about a distinction between substance and accidents. And I don't mean accidents like a car crash or a mistake. I'm talking about accidents as opposed to substances. So a substance of a thing is its whatness. What is it? So for instance, I am a human being. My substance is such that I'm a particular existence of a human being. A dog's substance would be its dogness. It is a dog. That is what it is. Its accidents would be certain external characteristics. So for instance, I have blonde hair. I could have easily not had blonde hair. I've got blue eyes. I could easily not have had blue eyes, but it wouldn't change my substance. I am Father Aaron Huber. And a dog can be black, it can be beige, it can be white, it can be gray. It doesn't change its substance. So we have this dichotomy of a thing so that it can endure through different changes, right? As I grow, my accidents change. I get taller, my voice gets deeper, and I feel like I get dumber, but that's just one of the things where the accidents are changing while the substance remains. We can see this throughout nature as well, right? So things that aren't necessarily alive the way an animal is alive, but even apples. We have apples. You can recognize an apple whether it's green or red because you know your mind is made to grasp substances. It's made to grasp natures of what something is, despite the difference in accidental qualities of the thing. It can be bigger, it can be smaller. Now, in our own lives, we value certain substances and we value certain attributes of those things. So for instance, my family recently renovated the house that we've been living in since I was 6 years old. And they changed a lot of its structural things. So the room size is kind of a little bit bigger. The house is the same. So we could, in an analogous way, say the substance is the same. Our house is the same, but its accidental qualities change. They understood the value of the substance, right? They needed a home. They need a place to live. But their accidental qualities of that home did not necessarily satisfy their desires. So they renovated it. They changed it. We do this all the time. Some of our clothes might get old and destroyed, or we might not like the style, so we get something else, which is one of the things that's nice about being a priest, is that my clothes never go out of style. Some say that it was never in style, but all I know is that I'm going to wear black every day, so I don't have to worry about it. So we suit certain accidental qualities of something to our lives and to our desires. Now, the interesting about the gospel today is I feel like the Lord is talking about this kind of dichotomy relative to salvation. And here's what I'm talking about. How many people do you know who are Catholic, who would claim to be Catholic? If they were ever asked, they would say, yes, I'm Catholic, but don't necessarily seem to do anything beyond going to Mass on Sunday or Saturday night, because it counts. How many people do you know people like that? Maybe you find yourself being one of those people where, no, I know what the laws of the church is. I have to go to church on Sunday, so I go to church on Sunday, and I do this. And as long as it's not inconvenient for you, you will allow the thing to stay. But there's so many people who, when they encounter a certain what they seem as accidental quality of the church or the religion, it no longer fits in their desires, and so they change it. Religion is just one of these basic needs that they want to satisfy in some kind of way. The Catholic Church worked for a little bit, but maybe it didn't. What's that a manifestation of, if not that, what the Lord is talking about? When he comes back, will he find faith on earth? Because in the gospel, the Lord's talking about, he makes it very clear that this judge is not a good person. The judge is not a good person. He neither fears God nor man, and he does whatever he wants. It makes me wonder how he ever became a judge, for one. I don't know how it worked back then. But regardless, he makes it explicit. This person's not a good person. But he also makes it very clear that he made a just decision. And just decisions are good. So you have this thing, okay, in his substance, is the substance of this judge, is he a good person? No. He makes it very clear. Then an accidental quality of this person is good. His actions. Something that's not essential to him, but something that he did. Accidents are good. Substance is bad in the case of the judge. And that's not enough. Because he's going through this, and he says at the very end, he goes, if he can do this good thing, then how much more so will God, who is good in his very substance, will do for you? And then he says, when I come back, do you think the Son of Man will find faith on earth? And he's making a very clear distinction between actions and being. He's making a very clear distinction between accidents and substance. So I need you all to ask yourselves, am I letting my Catholic faith be substantive in my life? Or is this just an accidental quality that I tolerate? Maybe even enjoy, that's fine. But is it firmly rooted in your souls? Do you let it inform your decisions when you're not here in this building? Do you let it inform the way you treat other people? The way you think? Do you let your faith inform the way you think? The way you perceive? The way you desire? If not, I don't know what the Lord's going to find when he comes back. But he uses all of us to help everyone else to make sure that our faith is substantive, that we have grace, his grace in our hearts. If you've heard any homily from me in my entire time here, which I say is like a long time, it's only been 3 months. If you've ever heard one of my homilies, one of the things I talk about so often is reality, right? I love talking about reality because if you don't talk about reality, then you're not talking about anything. But the reality of the situation is that God is real, he's here, and he desires to be with us and be in us through his grace. That's substantive. It's his divine life in our souls. Do we allow him to do that? Do we cherish that as something so essential to our lives that being apart from him increases our anxiety and our drive, and the only thing we can think about is being reconciled with him? Or is it one of those things where, well, I go to confession only 3 months, so I'm just going to go to confession in 3 months, and I'll get this sin washed away then? No, you need to take care of that now. Because you don't know when, first of all, the Son of Man is going to come back. You don't know when he's going to call you up first. This is life. This is reality. This is important. It's not simply an accidental quality of our lives. So what I encourage you all to do is, as we go through this Mass, understand what's happening. You get to participate in one of the most beautiful liturgies ever. The liturgy in which Christ himself is giving us his real body and blood. And he's going to really enter into your souls. And he's going to substantively change your life as he did at baptism. And he continues to do every time you receive his grace. When you walk out those doors, hopefully after the priest is already gone and not before, when you walk out those doors, do you take that with you? Or do you just leave it behind until next Sunday? Because that's not enough. It's not enough. The Lord has called me and he's called Father Robert Hale to be priests because he wants to make sure you all get to heaven. And it's my job to make sure I can do anything in my power to do that. Combined with his power, which is unstoppable, we're going to do the best we can. But it's up to you. It's up to you to make those decisions for yourself, to make those changes for your life, to be a Catholic of substance, not a Catholic by accident. And that's a double entendre there. Ask yourself these questions. Change your life. Let him inform you. And then you won't have to worry. You will see, I promise you. You will see the difference.